circles for days when it ceases to change, keeping my eyes on the horizon, throwing fuel in the fire, feeling nothing but time. Little changes, no surprises. Whoa, oh, oh. Gotta stay safe for the one who needs me. Whoa, oh, oh. Trying to keep both of my feet from stumbling. Have gone quiet, the floodlights are dying. I'm full of wonder. I left the cathedral behind, all the people who tried to drag me under. No flower in this desert, a light in the tunnel is only what you could have been. Absent will leave. Living life on the beat, empty roads in the heat, just for the sake of moving. I've climbed every wall, justifying it all, making note of the months we're losing. Whoa, oh, oh. The nightmares soak in the sheets of my bed. Whoa, oh, oh. How the hell is she still living rent-free in my head? Have gone quiet, the floodlights are dying. I'm full of wonder. I've left the cathedral behind, all the people who tried to drag me under. No flower in this desert, a light in the tunnel is only what you might have been. Absent with leave. You let your defenses down, and I thought for one moment that you could see me. The beds have gone quiet, the floodlights are dying. I'm full of wonder. I left the cathedral behind, all the people who try to drag me under. No flower in this desert, a light in the tunnel is only what you should have been. Absent will leave. Absent will leave.
There we go, live in the studio, Philip McCarroll with one of the songs from this little mini album that he brought out during lockdown, and I'm pleased to say we'll chat to him now. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Rob. Thanks for having me back again.
Thank you for joining us. I think it was 2018 was the last time you were here.
It really was. It was in the before times, a very different era.
And then, of course,
it was the hottest day of the year I was in here the last time.
You were in your shorts?
I was sitting in my shorts and t-shirt, and I was still boiling. It was ridiculous. It's somewhat different now, in the depths of November.
Exactly.
But I'm just glad to be here. Glad any of us are here.
Exactly. So for a musician like yourself, it must be good to actually get back out and, first of all, do some gigs again.
Oh my goodness gracious, yeah. I think I snuck in two at the end of 2021 before things went pear-shaped again. And I've actually only just started getting really back to the way of gigging since July there. I don't know, I was slightly disillusioned with the whole thing, and maybe I was more interested as a promoter in getting my shows back, the Sounds of NI gigs that I put on. I wanted to get them back up and running again and sort of make sure they were taken care of before I looked after my own solo thing. Yeah. But yeah, around July there, I just got the bug for it again. I'm really pleased that it did, because I was kind of concerned about myself. I've always been a gig monster, a gig animal. I would play in like a phone box in the back end of nowhere. And for some reason, I just thought, you know, it's more important for me now to promote other bands and other things. And, we'll sort that, you know, I can do my own thing as well. So it's back, the bug's back.
Brilliant. Well, tell us
the good bug.
Tell us about the song you just performed there, Absent with Leave. What's the story behind that one?
Absent with Leave. Actually, that is, now that's from the George Best, the John Lennon mini album thing that I brought it out during a period that you couldn't gig. I couldn't really do much promo work aside of what you get away with online. So that song was about the lockdown era, I guess, and my experiences during both of those, and the effect it has on relationships and potential relationships and all the rest of it, and just that trying to grind through these periods of your life that are fairly difficult. So but it's not a miserable song as such, but I guess it just sums up lockdown and the experience that everybody went through, but people had different sort of levels of it, and mostly that tune, the effect on relationships, the negative effect on relationships. If, I don't want to explain it too much. Take your own meaning from it.
Tell us about the title, because I love this. George Best to John Lennon. I can't believe that it's taken this amount of time for somebody to actually use that phrase.
Yeah. I mean,
it's been out there for years, and nobody's thought about linking these two legends in a song.
Exactly. Well, it's the airports, you see.
Yeah.
We used to make that journey from Belfast to Liverpool all the time, and then of course the airport's changed name. So George Best to John Lennon is a journey that people make every day of the week, and I thought, well, surely somebody's used this somewhere along the line. I wrote a song called George Best to John Lennon, which is just about life's journeys. And that particular one, the band I used to be in, we used to make an awful lot. We used to record over there, and just two great cities linked by George Best, John Lennon, two heroes, two icons, two heroes of mine. It had to be done. A tune called George Best to John Lennon, and then I ended up naming the mini album after it. It seemed appropriate enough.
Brilliant. Well, tell us about that band that you used to be in then, Paola. Whatever happened to them, and where's the rest of the guys today?
I mean, again, where are they now, Fal? Yeah. I mean, to me, Paola will always be a going concern, because I never put it to bed. I'm still a member of the band. A couple of the other guys, Nicky and Adam, still in the band, and we would get together now and again, actually do acoustic stuff. We played together a few weeks ago at one of my own solo shows. We did a whole segment of the show that was Paola acoustic stuff. There's no plans to bring the band back as such as yet, but I never say never to that. It could happen. Whether with the old lineup or with a new guitar player or whatever. You don't want to put these things to bed, because we were a great live band, and we had good songs too. I think we were rather underrated. Not least by ourselves. But
That's
with a bit of
like a
distance.
lot of Northern Ireland bands are really kind of underrated. I mean, I remember you guys in the beginning, because we had Big Buzz magazine at the time. Were promoting you like crazy.
Well, you properly rated us. You didn't underrate us. You probably overrated us, if anything. But you looked after us very well, and we could have done with a bit more of that. I think we were a rock and roll band, and there's this maybe a wee bit. I learn about this quite often, but a wee bit of musical snobbery in Belfast and Northern Ireland, not amongst punters, but amongst the music media. I'm just a wee smidgen of it, that sort of the hard rock's the poor relation, and this country's always excelled at hard rock music, and there's a lot of bands out there that mates of mine, people I know, who would go out safe during the summer festival season. They're all over Europe, and even the US gigging, and they're good level bands on that stage throughout Europe, Scandinavia, Japan, being looked after. Back here, kind of nobody, because they don't get the same column inches, they don't get the same airplay that they would do elsewhere, which is kind of a shame, because they should be championed as hometown heroes, and they have to go elsewhere to be appreciated. And Paola had a little bit of that too. I just say, it's just slightly less musical snobbery. I mean, hard rock and metal, again, get treated a little bit as the redheaded stepchild. And it absolutely shouldn't be that way, because that music's got it all. I'm a lover of rock and roll, even though I'm doing the acoustic thing now. I'll always be a rocker, always.
Yeah. And what about the gigs that you're promoting? Because you really care about these up and coming bands and give them the kind of out there, the gigs.
Sounds of NI's been going for at least a decade and a half, but 15 years of promoting shows around Belfast and elsewhere in Northern Ireland. And it's something we built up. Now, one of the most difficult things about the 2 years, it wasn't just the two lockdowns. It was live music just died a death for effectively the guts of 2 years, and it was a painful period for anybody who works in that sector, with the lack of help and the lack of vision to get out of it, and the extremity of the restrictions that we were under. For the first time ever, I'd gone for 2 years without either playing a show or running one, and it was so good to get back to it. I think it was February there, we put on our first show in the Empire Music Hall, and it was just like, old times except better. It was that bounce, that sort of feeling of people absolutely champing at the bit to be back out again. Wonderful atmosphere, and generally since then it's been very good. I mean, we've done a lot of shows, and we've got more coming up in November, December, and it really has been a wonderful return to form, if you know what I mean. It's people still love live music, and nothing that can happen, even for two whole years of it being taken away from you. People came back in their droves. Thank goodness.
Who's good at the minute? Who should we be watching out for?
Well, I mean, I've got a gig on this weekend. There's a band called Anto and the Echoes, and they're a great live band because they've got elements of heavy rock and sort of almost like a Meatloaf Queen kind of, dynamic, in that there's a over-the-top element to them, but the songs are also sort of indie-friendly, alternative-friendly. But more important than anything else, they put on a really, really good show. And the kind of bands that I always want to book are the ones that are going to entertain me, because I got to be there. I've got to be watching them.
Exactly,
so I mean,
yes,
I'm going to get bored fairly quickly if they're looking at their shoes or whatever. I mean, I know a lot of people like that kind of stuff. I don't want to be derogatory about bands who want to look at their shoes, but I want to be entertained. Yeah. And these guys do it fantastically well. And there's a band called Eons playing with them. They're well worth looking out for. Yeah. Myriad Things with a bit of a psychedelic edge. Right. And Heavy Session playing that game. There's never a lack of good bands around. I mean, if I start naming them, I'll be here all day.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll really annoy the people that I leave out. So just naming the ones from that particular gig in the Empire this weekend.
What about yourself? You have a new single out?
Yep, I've got 2 new singles out. The first one was called Sleeping in the Trenches, and it's almost like a campfire sing-along about political tribalism, which we know a bit about in this country, but with the American elections and stuff going on around this time. That's just my little 2p's worth on that. I've always got 2p's worth on just about everything, so Sleeping in the Trenches seemed like a fairly appropriate name. And the other one's No Longer, which I suppose is a more traditional sort of love ballad kind of thing, but it's heartfelt. Yeah. And it's set in picturesque county down countryside, so that's a nice tune. I'll play that as well.
And your wee son, he likes that one, doesn't he?
No, Rex loves Sleeping in the Trenches.
Loves Sleeping in the Trenches.
I don't know what he makes of No Longer. Like, he's not ready for love songs yet from Dad, But he loves Sleeping in the Trenches, and he made me release that one because he said it was very catchy and he can sing along to it and say, that's important. You got to get the kids on your side, especially your own kids.
And what age is he?
He's 6.
And is he showing signs of wanting to pick up
a
a guitar?
Unbelievable signs of all of it. He's got a ukulele and he's got a guitar, and more even than that. I mean, he's playing them constantly. He's got a little suitcase record player, and he's become a vinyl obsessive, which I am. Yeah. And I've got him set up with a whole load of 7-inch singles, Beatles singles, because I've got kind of doubles of them and stuff. Yes, so he's building up this wee collection of singles, which he adores. Brilliant. And plays them inside out, the B-sides and everything, and knows the lyrics of everything. It's fantastic because my twin obsessions are music and football. Yeah. And he's just not showing the football signs. He doesn't mind playing. He won't watch it. He just won't watch it, which is so worrying to me, because how are we going to relate to each other? Yeah. But with music, he gets it. He gets it. And he writes his own songs constantly, and he's got his record collection. So that is something I'm going to completely. I mean, not be a pushy parent. I don't even have to with it. Yeah. He just gets it.
You got to bring him next time you come in.
Oh, he was going to almost come today. Yeah. I got a babysitter, but maybe I should have brought him. He could have just come on. He could have come down back and forth, done a bit of dancing. Believe me, he would have.
What about live gigs for yourself? What's coming up?
Well, the most interesting one I've got coming up, I'm doing gigs all the time, including I've got a 2-piece thing with a friend of mine called Phil McCarroll that we do a bunch of covers as well, something I've never stepped into before, but that's a bit of fun. We do that for the crack. I'm playing Philip McCarroll's solo show it's in the Deer's Head in Belfast. It's Friday the 25th of November. I know it's during the World Cup because it's the same night as England are playing the USA in the World Cup, because I have to book everything around the World Cup, you see. But it's after that, so I'll get to see that first. And I'm supporting a guy called John Corabi. And he was the second singer in Motley Crue. And obviously Motley Crue, a massive rock and roll metal band from America. Now, the more famous singer is a guy called Vince Neil. This guy, John Corabi, took over during the grunge era, and he was a much, much better singer. And he's now a solo artist, and apparently he tells a lot of stories, very entertaining, and he's a fantastic singer too, so I'll need to be doing my homework before that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but that'll be a good night. Friday the 25th, it's run by a friend of mine, Kieran, from SD Entertainment as well. He does a lot of good work locally.
Brilliant. We look forward for that. You're going to play another one for us now. You're going to do No Longer, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll do No Longer, and then I'll do Sleeping in the Trenches. or else Rex will never forgive me.
Philip, good to see you as always. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me back. Absolute pleasure.
So here he is performing one more time live for us in the NVTV studios. Here is Philip McCarroll.
When the moon backs down in the morning and the starlight dies on a vine, when my weary feet looks upon another day, I'll be breaking with you on my mind. When the haze hangs low early evening and the dew lies wet on the fields, when the roots settle in, oh, but I can't even begin to find peace here till you will proceed. When my eyes display what my mouth can no longer say, well, it'll be well, my faith in you has been shaken, and that halo no longer shines. For in all honesty, you have flattered to deceive. I was foolish to dream from your wine. When my eyes display what my mouth can no longer say, well, it'll be I believe I know this finally, that this lie no longer works for me. I believe when my words reveal what my heart can no longer conceal, they will not be, no longer be, no longer be, no longer be for you, no longer be for you, no longer be for you, no longer be for you.
So that's all we have time for on the show this week. Thank you to all my guests, and to play us out, we're joined once again by Philip McCarroll with a track called Sleeping in the Trenches. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Things don't have to be this way. Things can change. We see things in different ways. So rearrange, stay the same. Don't stay the same. Everybody wants a fight, and we should be ashamed. Oh, things don't have to be this way. Things can change. You swing left, so I lean right, 'cause that's the game. Stay the same. Don't stay the deep inside. They say no news is good news, but no news is good. We think it stand on shifting sands. It don't make any difference. We know that it should. Oh, things don't have to be this way. Things can change. Everyone is so self-righteous and so strange. Stay the same. Don't stay the same. Everybody falls in line and we should be ashamed. Oh, things don't have to be this way. Things can change. Absolutes and cookie cutter dreams. It's insane. Stay the same. Don't stay the same. No one's got the guts to take the blame. So we're sleeping in the trenches once again. We're wallowing in certainty. It's easier than ever admitting defeat. Hypocrisy is deafening. We preach to the converted, sing to the gallery. Whoa, things don't have to be this way. We seem cursed, sitting with our faces in our phones. It's made us worse. Stay the same. Don't stay the same. No one's got the guts to take the blame. So we're sleeping in the trenches once again. Everybody says they want to change, but we're sleeping in the trenches once again.